What's up, guys? Josh Parris here from Josh Parris Guide Service, RB Bass Fishing. I'm gonna kind of do a recap. I'm gonna try to keep it short. I got a lot of stuff to kind of cover and what I've been doing, what I'm seeing now. Kind of jump all into that. This should be up on YouTube, so if you guys have like questions, comments about any of the stuff, drop it down below. I'll try to jump back on there and answer it. As I'm gonna cover a lot of baits and I'll do some scenario stuff, but it'll just be a lot of bait. So jumping back about a month, it's been a good year. Caught a lot of big fish. It looks like it's just going to be a good year in general. A little bit of a weird year. We are looking like we're coming into a drought here in California again, is to where water's dropping quick. We didn't get much rain. It was kind of a mild winter. So we'll just start at March. March was a really good month. Kind of coming into it, I saw a lot of fish starting to move up, starting to, it's also a lot of lakes up here. We haven't had trout in a while. We got trout, so the swim bait bite was awesome. The glide bait bite, I'll start with, because it was kind of a weird one this year, as it never really was too consistent, is I'd find a bite here, get real excited, and then it would kind of dwindle, and then I'd find another one, and yeah, it was just a really weird bite. It wasn't the most consistent bite. But the couple of glides that I really focused on this year, the Depths 250 was a really good one. The Sly Guy 9-inch, I want to say, was another good one. I caught two big ones on both of those baits this year. And then as far as for just getting bit, the Shine Glide was a really good one to just put fish in the boat, as well as a couple really good ones. And then, I mean, a lot of the other glide baits, we're working just as well. I had some, other baits that worked, but it was just a weird bite. I mean, I couldn't really put a real consistent pattern together with it, to where I just kind of stuck with what I was doing. And what I was doing was a lot more of the Vortex tail soft bait. So Vortex tail versus like a boot tail. So like that's a boot tail, and this would be a Vortex tail. So you got the like wedge style tail, to where, this bait really works much more like just barely kind of kicking along. Fish is just subtly swimming. Versus this one, it gets a lot more body roll to it. And I mean, that tail really wiggles around back there, does a lot more action. With the cooler water temps earlier in March, it seemed like that more subtle presentation was the deal. So the couple of baits that I was really throwing were the Savage Gear, I had the prototype at the time. This is the new top hook version. And then this is the 8 and this is the 10. I just got the new redone out on the market versions. I was throwing prototypes before this, but awesome bait. Really liking this. One of the things I really like is this little cavity in here. Makes everything real nice and neat. It comes with a stinger hook. I really like how clean everything rides on this bait. Is put up against my garage door. You can see how, you can just barely see the hooks on this thing. I really don't like big gaudy hooks hanging off, big chunks of, wire or braid being visible. I don't know if it makes a big difference. It does to me. My confidence goes up when everything's really neat on the bait. So really pumped about this Savage Gear. It's going to be one that I use a ton. One other bait that I was using quite a bit this year was the Hog Hunter. Great bait, put a lot of big fish in the boat. For soft baits this winter, that was really it. I did throw some of the smaller pulse tails, but really it seemed like the 8 to 10 inch was the jam. I mean, that's what was getting eaten. Even when we saw them chasing trout that were this big, you throw this guy in there, I mean, not even a huge difference, but you throw this one in there and they would pay a lot more attention to the trout that I was seeing them eat were tiny little ones, but they wanted the bigger bait. I can't say why, whether it's just draw power because it's a bigger bait, what it is, but it was definitely that 8 to 10 inch bait was getting way more love than the smaller baits. Really, that almost sums up March, honestly, and even most of early April. That's really all we did was throw big baits, chasing that big bite. We did find there was a little window where we had some topwater going, and I was even working my glides somewhat like a topwater. So let me find one. The Lunker Punker was getting some good bites, and then the Sly Guy 9, actually, I caught a pretty good one on. walking it just, I mean, erratic up on the surface, not like your normal glide, just, you know, smooth sailing, to where, like I said, I mean, just kind of playing around with stuff, seeing if there was a difference. Coming into early April to where we are now, it got really weird. We started seeing beds, and it always messes up the swim bait bite. Is just when they start bedding one, the first big wave of fish that pulls up, and it's a lot of my swim bait fish that we're just eating, and now they're all on beds acting weird and not eating. As well as you start to see weird stuff where, like, I mean, we even had one a couple weeks ago that was, I mean, like, followed a glide like 10 times to the boat and then would go right back off, and wasn't really sitting on a bed. I mean, it was just sitting out over 20 foot of water, and then would come back to the boat, following again, and then ended up eating it one time, to where it's like, it's really hard to pattern that sort of thing, to where I really try to chase the fish that are still in pre-spawn all the way up until about right now. About right now, we're going to start seeing the shad spawn, and, you know, the second wave's probably already starting to pull up. And now I start chasing my pre-spawn fish, which is going to be more active fish that are chasing, busting topwater, to where now we're going to go right back into kind of a topwater bait. One of my favorites, I mean, I really discovered it last year, the Ballum 245 and Ballum 300. I've already started whacking fish on these baits. I am over the moon. This bite's coming back, man. I mean, this is one of the most addictive bites, especially if you can get them going on the figure 8. It's just an awesome bite. It just, I mean, you work it fast, you're covering water, you're looking for the fish that are up, active, doing it. And it always seems like post-spawn for me anyways, as far as what I found with this bait, post-spawn through the summer, this thing's gonna be a killer. Couple other baits that are gonna start coming into play. It's gonna be like the Savage Gear Shine Glide, and then really the bluegill are just starting to move up. So another good one, just got the packaged version. We've been throwing prototypes, is the Top Hook Pulse Tail Bluegill. We got some other, I've been playing with these ones for a minute. The actual swimming, forgive me, I don't know the names of these. I just get them and play with them. These are both Savage Gear, more bluegill baits. Then we start going into trash fish. Trash fish, always get it done. This time of year, I mean, I'm really starting to focus more on just a reaction bite, with the Ballum, even the Lunker Punker, the Shine Glide. I'm trying to get fish to react, or they are starting now to feed on more of the 6-inch baby bass, smaller stuff. The bluegill are moving up, the crappie, all of that. That's really the next bite that I'm going to start chasing, and it might change. It might not be the same year as last year, to where I can't run all that stuff. So kind of looking through one more, actually 2 more, really digging, and I started last year, that I'm going to put a lot more time on this year, are the Optimum baits. I think this is the Boom Boom, this is the Boom Boom, Papa Boom Boom, and this is the other Boom Boom. These two, weedless, you can get them in the grass or trees, really digging them as well. Last year I had a lot of luck. For me, again, I mean, you can see on there, I got a stinger back there. I run stingers on anything. If I can get away with it, if this thing starts getting hung up, I'm going to take it off, obviously. But I just find these days, without a stinger, you're just cutting your numbers as far as bites to land ratio. And I've had big ones, I mean, come on stinger hook. So if you can get away with stinger hook, run a stinger hook. And then the last one is going to be, it's the pretty much soft version of the Ballum. Really started playing with this last year. Let me see if I can find a package of it. Oh yeah, Separ 9. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but this has been an awesome bait. Really playing with this one. Probably one of the best skipping baits I've ever found. I mean, I can skip this thing, I'm not even kidding, 20, 30 foot back into docks. It's unbelievable. And it gets bit. I mean, it has almost like, you know, it has that swing, almost same Ballum swimming motion when you swim it. It comes through everything. It's an awesome bait. I really kind of think that covers it into the summer. Again, I never know. Like even this year, I did not expect soft baits to be the craziness and glide baits to be just lower end. but every year's different. Really, I would say keep an open mind out there. I mean, really, keep trying different stuff. If it's not working, don't, you can force feed a bait all day and get bit here or there, but keep looking for the patterns and really pay attention to when you're getting bit, why you're getting bit. I'll try to do a video later on a lot of that stuff of like putting patterns together. That's one of my biggest things. You've ever been on the boat with me, you'll know that like, I have set times of why I run places, where I run places. And again, I even then I change them up and see if maybe it's a little bit different at a different time. And a lot of times I find like this year in the spring, there were multiple spots where if you weren't there at 11 o'clock and you didn't make this exact cast, you weren't getting bit. So hope this helps you guys. Get out there, keep fishing, and we'll see you on the water. All right.